Cheryl St. George, 6440 Hamilton Drive. I think it's a slap in the face for the residents of this town in the financial dilemma we're in, to even consider raising a board, a referendum, raising the board from 3 to 5. We fought and voted in a referendum to reduce it from 5 to 3, basically motivated from costs. Now, again, I've said this before in previous board meetings, in New Hampshire, they have boards of 5 or 7 boards, but they don't have the costs associated with the cost of being a town board member, like in Evans. So I would like to see something a little creative done. Maybe what we could do is, if you need that extra body or two to be able to have public hearings, maybe we could assign community involvement and have 2 representatives from the communities, maybe one from Angola, one from Derby, where it's a volunteer basis. They're acting board members, but they don't get paid. I just can't see, with this water tower project fiasco of 16 billion plus, where we even get the idea of adding 2 new board members at this time and place. If Hamburg is a community size of how many?
58,000.
Okay, 58,000. That's 3 times the size of our board. So I disagree with some people's opinions stated earlier. This is a town of 16,000. The water surcharge, I have spoken to people, is killing people. You cannot insult people with adding additional $80,000 to $160,000 costs to a board when people can't put food on the table because they got to pay their damn water bill. I little did I know this year I put new grass in a wet spring, still watered. A $72 water bill this past quarter cost me $181 with $90 in a water surcharge. The water surcharge goes to pay for the debt on the water tower project. Thanks to a few administrations ago, instead of using the $2.1 million to put the water tower into place, they put it into the town general spending, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the water project is for the water project.
Right.
The water tower we haven't even put up yet.
Right, that's an additional 7.
When they passed the water project, the water to be taken over by Erie County, which you haven't convinced me that was a really good idea. And because I haven't been able to figure out the numbers to where it works out, but it was supposed to cost us $12 million for the entire project. That money is long gone, and we still have 24 roads to pave and a water tower to put up. And we did submit a grant for the water tower, which is a $5 million project. We still have to finance 40% of that ourselves. We probably have to do it through bond debt, and that bond debt would get paid through the surcharge. The surcharge would absolutely go up again, because in order to pay the debt, you have to have a revenue stream to pay the debt. We cannot take that payment out of general town tax. So the revenue, when they set up the water, the only way Erie County would agree to it is if the service charger you had to have a payment source for this. Because you cannot, because it's an enterprise account, it cannot be taken out of the general town tax. Because the Village of Angola pays the general town tax as well, and they already have their own water district, so that's why we have to pay our general town back.
But isn't there...
It's water enterprise.
Okay, but how is it fair that per, gallon or per 1,000 gallon I'm being charged a really hefty, oppressive surcharge? Anyone, God forbid, you have a pool. And I've spoken to some neighbors of mine, and we're all flipping out because of our water bills. I mean, it used to be you worried about your gas bills in the winter and electric bill in the summer. Now, the water bill is more than my utility, my gas or electric. It's crazy.
And it's one of the things we are looking at. The one thing that I don't agree with is the way we're charging it.
Right.
I don't think it should fluctuate. The one thing, talking to some outside counsel already, we brought in Harris. Was it Harris? Here's, no. Philip Slido, I think. One of because we brought in an outside counsel that strictly deals with water districts, and because there has to be a different way of funding it, because right now, as it stands, it's passed through the water bill. So anybody that gets a water bill pays a little bit of the debt.
Pays a lot.
Right, well, and they based it on usage. So I always, if you have a car and it's a fixed cost, we know what the loan is, and we know how many people are paying it, we should be able to fix that for our residents and not fluctuate it based on usage, because I think that's a killer. But also putting it through the water bills, I don't think it's fair, because then there's people with vacant property that now have improved water infrastructure going past that property, that when they sell that property, they will sell it with water, and they're not paying any part of the debt. And when talking to the attorney says how we're even doing it is not even legal. It should be through the tax.
That's what I was feeling. I was feeling that this cannot be legal.
Well, because not everybody is contributing towards the debt, and those vacant landowners that have the ability to sell it with water are not contributing to the improved infrastructure that everybody else is paying towards. So with the attorney, because they specialize in water districts, you'll probably see it probably won't happen this year, because it's a heavy lift to move to create the water district, probably next year. It'll probably come off the water bill and onto your tax bill as a water district. But at least we can get a fixed charge, and it's not fluctuating with water use. But then everybody that has that land will be paying.
Okay. Now, I have a question about the 1995 charge, the infrastructure. There's an infrastructure charge.
That's Erie County.
That's water authorities.
That's from Erie County. So on top of that, all the Erie County residents are paying that 1995. In addition, we have a water surcharge because of 2007, they didn't build the water, they didn't incorporate the water tower, or the water project, correct?
Yeah, it was actually 2007 to 2014 is when they drew down the debt. And over the years, that's why you see the increase last year, is because part of the debt that was, in 2007 is when we started running a deficit in the water enterprise. Think of it, it's its own little business. So if you run a deficit, either raise your rates on that side, but you can't steal from this account to pay for the water deficit. You've got to create it. So we went into arrears by borrowing from the general fund almost $3 million. So now, along with that $3 million and the $12 million, that's what you're paying through your surcharge.
Okay.
And it has to be paid that way, because I can't pay it out. But when we first got into office, we dissected the water, we weren't collecting enough surcharge to even pay the debt that they put on the books.
Okay.
So we didn't have enough to pay even down the debt, so we were accumulating more deficit in the water. So you had to stop the bleeding. They should have been raising the surcharge as they were borrowing more of that money, and they never did.
Okay.
They never reevaluated to pay down the debt.
Okay.
So hopefully this September we'll be applying for another hardship. We're going to apply for hardship, and hopefully, due to our rating with the state controller, we'll be able to refinance that debt at 0%. That's almost the savings, if we can get that, of $7 million, because right now we're paying anywhere probably from 7 to 10, depending on how much we end up borrowing in just interest on this water project.
Okay.
So we're working to try to.
No, I realize that. It's just people are really feeling the effects of mismanagement of money back in previous administrations, and when there was a 5-member board. And I just, I can't emphasize enough the concept of introducing an additional 2 board members at the cost of healthcare and the salary in the state of fiscal instability we're in is just, I wouldn't even bother putting in a referendum, because I think a lot of people are going to just vote it down because of the water bill and the taxes going up. They're not going to want to pay for anything else right now. Bring the development in, increase the population, then we'll be glad to, add 2 more members to the board. But I think there's got to be some other creative solution where you involve the community, where they take turns being a volunteer board member for a year. And you can get 2 on there without having to go through, there can be some sort of, nomination process or whatever, but it just saved the town some money with, 2 non-paid members in addition to the 3. Thank you.